Hi, this is Kathy from the White Pigeon Library. We've got some new books. We've got The Secret Book of Flora Lee by Patty Callahan Henry. It's about two sisters during war-torn Europe, 1939, and they're evacuated from London into a rural village in order to protect them from the bombing. And the two sisters entertain each other by creating a magic world and giving it a name and just basically telling lots of stories about it. And then one day the younger sister disappears from the edge of the river where they played, and nobody really knew what had happened to her. 20 years later, the older sister is working at a bookstore and she unwraps a brand new book, and it's all about the stories they used to tell about the magical world that they had created. So then she goes on a search to find her younger sister. We've got The Celebrants by Stephen Rowley, and he wrote The Guncle, which I read. That was kind of fun. This one looks fun. Somebody called it the big chill of current times. It's about a group of friends that reunite every 5 or so years, and this is 28 years after they graduated from Berkeley, and they have been reuniting throughout that time at Big Sur. And this time there's a secret that unravels and challenges their past. So that would be good. We've got Nancy Horan, The House of Lincoln, and it's about Abe Lincoln and his wife, seen from the perspective of a 13-year-old nanny from Spain. And she watches Abe Lincoln develop and change his views and realize that slavery was something that had to be abolished, and how he grew from a backwoods lawyer and to be president. But he also talks about she talks about Mrs. Lincoln and how she developed and what her challenges were. And they discover that there's a branch of the Underground Railroad running through Springfield, Illinois, where they live. So this historical fiction looks like it's going to be very good. This author wrote Loving Frank about Frank Lloyd Wright, who was a bit of a dog, and she wrote about, I can't remember if it was the second wife or the third wife, because there were two books about Frank Lloyd Wright that came out right about the same time. But I remember Loving Frank was really good, so this one should be good. We've got The Dead Are Gods. I'm going to work on this author, Irene Carson. I think that's close. And she's writing about the death of a close friend. It's a nonfiction memoir. And they were black models in a predominantly white industry, and it sort of came up together, lots of parties and various rock and roll. And then all of a sudden she learned of her friend's death, and it talks about the grief and how that can affect you, and basically how much she misses her friend. So that's what we've got. We'll have more books next week. Thank you.